Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. In this video, I'm going to share with you some amazing techniques that you could use to significantly increase the chance that you make that sale on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, wherever it is that you're selling. And a lot of people are reporting to me that they are having slow sales in all of those forums plus others. I see it pretty much every day in my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, when I go through the comments, so much so that the other day I decided to take a poll. Now, granted, it's an unscientific poll, but I wanted to at least try to get a general sense of the landscape, to get some objective data so that I could see how pervasive of a problem this actually is. And so if we go into the poll results, and this is after about 24 hours, you can see here that about 400 people reported that they felt their sales were too slow. About 90 people reported that their sales were just right, so right in that Goldilocks range. And only about 15 people reported that their sales were on fire. So these results are just way too skewed in the wrong direction. We don't want this many people reporting that they're having slow sales. So this is something that we want to try to fix. We want to try to work around this, come up with some solutions. And I figured what better way to do that than to bring in an expert. Let's bring her in here right now. Amanda, the garment broker. Here she is. I wish I had her live. I don't. She does not do YouTube. I tried. But maybe one day. But Amanda was kind enough and was gracious enough to allow me to share her Poshmark closet, which you see here. Now, let me stop you if you're thinking of turning off the video because you think that this isn't going to help you because you see women's clothing items. And that's absolutely not true. Couldn't be farther from the truth. The items don't matter in this instance. What really matters are the staging techniques, the photography, the angles, and also some of the great verbal psychological techniques that she uses when she describes items. And speaking as a neuropsychologist, I just want to say that Amanda just really does an amazing job with this. She has my psychology stamp of approval for what she's doing. It's obviously very effective. As you can see here, she's very experienced. She has over 100,000 followers. She has over 1,500 listings. She's been doing this for over 15 years. I know this because I have followed her over at her Instagram account, which is also Garment Broker. So make sure you are following her there and also follow her Poshmark account because you're going to want to look at many other examples that she has besides the ones that I'm going to show here today. So just tell her Primetime sent you. The links are down below in the description section. So first, just as a general framework here before we go into the specific listings, I just want to show you the main page and just to press upon you the importance of first impressions. The first thing I think you notice when you come to this page is that you feel welcome. You have someone who is smiling at you. In multiple locations. You have these little kiss icons here as well. And you could also, tell obviously that she's experienced and there's a professional appearance to it that you want to make sure that you have. She has a nice banner that's coming across here, which is professionally done. And there's even like a personal branding kind of element to it. In which she has a little cartoon character that's designed to sort of look like her. I do the same thing with my Primetime Treasure Hunter cartoon icon. I think that's a very effective technique to use. I also have a banner that goes across. So if you're not familiar, you could get these banners professionally done at a very reasonable rate by going to a site like Fiverr, Fiverr. Go over there and check out the rates. You probably will be surprised at the type of work you could get done at a very affordable rate. But the other thing is that you notice is that you could instantly identify with what it is she's selling. Now, obviously, yes, it's a Poshmark page, so you expect that you're going to see clothing, although they do sell hard goods, and I'll show you some examples of that later. But the main thing you're identifying with when you come in here is that this is someone who is targeting women's fashion. It's very clear, it's very obvious from the outset. So if you're targeting a niche area like that, make sure that your opening page tells your consumer that. That's very important. Now, if you're more of a generalist like myself, then make sure that your opening splash page shows that as well, like I have in my eBay store. If you want to go take a look. But let's go into some examples of specific listings of hers and show you some of the things that she does. Now, right here, you see a skirt. And this is a perfect example of what I'm telling you, that it doesn't matter that it's clothing, because the point of this that I want to show you is the professionalism of the white background that she's using to really make that item stand out and pop. It's not dull and faded in the background. You don't see anything distracting. It's just very clear. Your eyes are focused on exactly what that is. I actually showed you something very similar to this recently in my What Sold video when I showed you that kitty Hubley toy plane, and I was showing you how that white background really made that plane pop in terms of showing off those really bright blue and yellow and orange colors. Remember that plane sold for $70. I really think that having that white background really helped make that sale. So I use a program called PhotoFuze, F-O-T-O-F-U-Z-E. Amanda may use something different. I'm not sure. You could ask her on Instagram. But she also, I know from her Instagram photos, has you know, a professional lighting setup, a nice staging area. So you want to make sure you have that as well, so you could shine that light and highlight the item well. Now, this does not mean, by the way, that you need to use a white background literally on every single picture. As you'll see, she doesn't do that, and I don't do that either. Sometimes I like a wood background. Sometimes you might even want to stage a background, as I'm going to show you later in at least one of Amanda's items as we move forward here. But you will also notice that one technique that she uses is that, and this one will be specific to if you're selling clothes, is that she does model her items. Now, I already could tell, I already know some people are going to say, well, you know, it's easy for you to say because, you know, I don't feel like I look like that, and I don't feel like I could, you know, model items like that. And you don't have to. It's an option for you if you want to do that. As you'll see, there are examples where Amanda will model something and she does not show her face in it, or she doesn't show any part of her body except the specific part that's being modeled, for example, shoes. And then there's other examples where she may use a mannequin, or she may use a model from you know, some type of public space that she brings in to show off what the clothing should look like. So I'm just putting this out there to show you different options that you could use. But, you know, all these great visual techniques aside, what really drew me into this one that I really love from a psychological perspective is what she's doing in here in her description section. Because what a lot of people do is they just get focused on the item. So they'll just write leather, high-waisted, full zip leather skirt in the description, and they'll put the measurements, and that's it. Well, look at this. Consider doing something like this. I really love this. She writes, be prepared for everybody, and she puts that in all caps. Sound familiar? I love using that technique with highlighting the keywords in caps. Be prepared for everybody to stop and ask you where you got this. That is crucial. Let's just stop right there, because what she's doing is she is telling you that when you buy this item, that you are going to feel special. And especially with clothing items, that's how people want to feel when they're buying their items. They want to make sure that they feel special. And so she's kind of giving you some assurances there that you're going to feel that way when you get the item. And she's also saying here, the answer is they can't get it. It's vintage, it's pristine, and it's amazing. I love that, because when she says you can't, or they can't get it, that's great, because then she's making you feel even more special, because she's making you feel like you're the only one who's going to have this item. So that's even better. So all different types of techniques that you'll see that she uses to make you feel special and to make you really feel like you're getting something unique that you're really going to love. So make sure that you convey things like that in your listings if you're not doing that, to help people kind of get that sense so they could picture how they're going to feel emotionally, make an emotional connection with the buyer, or at least attempt to do that. Bring you into another example here, and this is one in which I could show you that you do not have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to show your face. So this is an example of a Kate Spade woven basket beach tote, and you can see here she's just showing a picture of her holding it, but her face is not in it at all. If you're not comfortable sharing your face, this is just an option for you. Now it's interesting, when I saw this item I kind of laughed because recently on my own Instagram account I've been selling some bags and so some women's bags, and one of the things that I was talking about is make sure you don't just show the bag, make sure you show other aspects of it. So here, look at that depth that she's providing, showing you how deep the bag is. She's giving you just this great, this great photograph, just really conveys that really well. And as we go down, also, I told you, if it's something that has a brand name on it, make sure that you are showing off that that brand name somehow. Get a close-up of it, zoom in on it, and also show what it's like when it's full. Show what it's like when someone's using it. And that's what she's doing over here. She's showing what it looks like, when it's used, when she models it. Or, here she's showing what it looks like, when it's full. So that's, a nice technique to use as well. It was nice to see when I was going through her items again. It was funny because, like I said, I just had talked about that the other day. So, I like to show things that, that some of the stuff that we're doing that we have in common. Now, this is some of the shoes, and I crack up when I see the Christian Louboutin shoes, because I actually, to show how clueless I am or was about fashion, I actually had no idea about these shoes until I learned about them from Amanda, from watching her Instagram account. Had absolutely no idea. If I saw those red bottoms in a thrift store, I would have walked by them probably and had no clue. But now I know. So thank you, Amanda, if you're watching this. I'm sure you'll be watching it at some point. But this is what I was talking about in terms of that if you don't want to show your face, or you don't even want to show most of your body, maybe you're not comfortable with your figure or whatever, you could just model off the shoes just like this. So this is a perfect example of it. Now, this is something you could do on Poshmark. You do have to be careful on eBay with regards to how you describe things. You're not supposed to describe things as well worn. You're supposed to be really careful. eBay's real careful about foot fetish type of people and marketing to them. But on Poshmark, it's definitely okay to model the shoes like this. And here's another example of it right here. And one of the things that I also like that I have not seen other people do is that here she's not only using a white background, but she's also using sheets. They're white sheets, and she has the light shining on them just right. And I think that really gives a nice comforting appearance to people when they see that. And I think that also helps make the sale. She also makes sure that she shows these shoes at all different types of angles. This is not somebody who is just taking a few pictures, just one or two pictures. She is making sure she is showing all of the different angles. There we go again. And not only that, consistent what I said before, that not only do you not have to show yourself modeling the shoes, but you do want to try to show them in use. So what did she do over here is she shows different people wearing the shoes, different celebrities walking around and wearing them, so you could get a sense of what they look like. That is a great idea, a great technique to use. And I highly suggest implementing things like that if you are selling fashion to show off the display. But, again, just to go back to, if it's not clothing, I've talked about this before when I've sold Star Wars toys, when I'm telling you, make sure that if they light up, that you take pictures of them showing that they light up. Or if you're selling a DVD player or a Laserdisc player, make sure that you show them working. I have pictures of Blu-ray DVD players that I sell where I show them not only lit up and working, but I show them connected to the television with the television on, showing the the movie. So that's the kind of thing that you want to do. It's the same kind of concept, but it does take extra work. You know, this is not something that took, 2 seconds to do. I'm sure it didn't take forever, but there's some staging involved, and, she's very careful about the way she does it, and she has a certain technique, and you'll learn that as well by going through pictures like this and getting some inspiration, and then you'll develop a certain, a pattern and a technique that you'll be comfortable using when you list these types of items. So let's go into another example here. This is another good example of her modeling off the items. These are these long boots right here. And again, I just want to show you how she is showing them off at all different angles. You could see here as well, she's also showing the bottoms, which are definitely important for shoes. But, again, just to relate this to other items, I show you this when I sell toys, when I sell comic books. I am taking not only one picture, not 2 pictures usually. I'm showing multiple pictures of the item at different angles, because remember, the person who's buying this, especially if they're going to fork over a lot of money, I mean, this is a $100 item here, which she did sell, by the way, they're not there to physically inspect it. So you have to take, as many pictures as you reasonably could that are sufficient to give people an overall impression and view of the item. So it's a good thing to do. Another thing that she does, and I've noticed this term a lot in her listing, she likes to use the word showstopper. And after all, who doesn't want to be a showstopper? Think about that. A showstopper, you walk into a room and the show stops because of you. Again, be prepared. Look at this. Showstopper boots. Let me highlight this whole thing here. I love this. Showstopper boots, be prepared for lots of compliments. Now, how many of you who are selling clothes are putting things like that in your listings? I guarantee there's a ton of people watching who are not putting stuff like that in there. And guys, if you're still watching this, if you're selling an Iron Man shirt, put something in like that. Say, hey, all the guys are going to say something about this Iron Man shirt and give you high fives or something like that. Or they're going to, say that's an awesome thing to wear to the man cave next time. It's the same kind of thing. You could apply this to men's fashion as well. Or, let's say it's a comic book that you have that, I don't know, maybe, yeah, here's my Doctor Who one that I have right here. You could say, oh, everybody's going to see this and they're going to be blown away that you have this in your display. So again, it's more about the concepts here than about the actual items. This is just another example of some of the shoe modeling that she's doing with the bed sheets there. And here she's also making use of collage photos, which are great to do, especially if you want to show multiple angles in a thumbnail picture. Like if you want let's say you sell on eBay, you want that to be your first thumbnail picture. That's a good way to get multiple different images in there at once. And there's different programs out there that you could use to cobble these types of collages together, but it's very effective. And again, she's showing them at all different angles, and that's very effective. And also you could see here, this is something I do with my posters, for example, is that she's bringing out the ruler and she's showing you the exact measurements to give you a visual on that. So when I take pictures of my posters, let's say my Star Wars posters, for example, I show one main picture of the actual poster without the measuring tape, just like she actually did with her shoes here. And there's no measuring involved. But then when you go down towards the latter pictures, you could see how she's putting some of that in there. She's even peeling away because you could see here the boot is closed, but she's actually taking the extra step of opening up the boot to show you what it looks inside. This gets back to my plain item that I sold recently. You remember I actually did a video talking about going the extra 9 yards when I realized that I did not display the wings with the last 2 pictures showing the wings going up versus going down to show that they moved, and I got up and I took those extra pictures. You have to be willing to go the extra 9 yards. There's a reason why Amanda is a top-notch seller and does very well selling high-priced items on Poshmark. It's because she's putting in the work. She's putting in the effort. She's not just snapping 1 or 2 quick pictures with dirty socks in the background and all sorts of distracting items. These are all very clean, crisp, professional images. So important. And I hope this is giving you some great ideas about staging. Now, let's move off of shoes for a second and let's go into some really great staging ideas that she showed with this Starbucks, these Starbucks coffee tumblers. I love this. Look what she did there. Now, this is something that, you know, I think I do a pretty good job with visual displays, but I would not have thought of this. I love this. What I would have done is just stacked them up straight, you know, like a guy and just taken the pictures that way. But I love how she kind of flays them open like that. And again, she has them on that white bed sheet. Very effective. I love the symmetry that she's using there. It's really nice, and it's a great opening picture. And then what she does over here that I really like is she shows the tumbler and she brings in these other images here. Like she brings in, like, you know, the fall leaves in the background and places those nice. Look at that staging. She even has like a notebook that has like similar colors to the tumbler. I absolutely love this. I think it's a great idea. I have done something similar to this when I have sold my Virgin Mary statues, and I've purposely taken them and put them in nature scenes to try to, you know, create that kind of spiritual look. So I've talked about that before. My wife, Mrs. Primetime, cracks up when she sees that. She thinks it's a funny thing, but these are all psychological strategies to use that are proven methods to help make sales. But if you're not doing this and you're just taking, you know, a quick picture of the tumbler and that's it, no, that's not gonna help move the product as effectively as techniques like this. And here's when she had some other colors as well. And you could even see here, when she had 3 left, she used a nice little technique here to put some pressure on the buyer. She says, I have 3, first come, first serve. If you bundle all 3, you only pay shipping once. I do something very similar. If I have a hot item and these items are hot, and I know there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be tempted to watch it, I actually use a technique where I say, these are the last ones left, and if you want to watch them, then you're going to watch them go to somebody else. And that helps create pressure. You know, I also tell people that you could bundle things together. You know, it'll be one main price. You can save money that way. You know, do things to try to increase the chance of making the sale. Plus, not only that, you know, this is a good example of how you do not always have to have white backgrounds. Look at this. This is a beautifully staged background with, she has the pink flowers, you know, with the berries coming right over. And I don't think it's a coincidence that she has the pink coming over the pink. She's got the couch in the back staged with the pillows. It's just great. It's so artistic, and it's just very effective. And so again, great ideas for you that are gonna help sell your items. I'll give you a couple of more examples here. This is her modeling a ring. So for those of you who sell jewelry, it's important to not just show the ring, but if you can, also show it in use. And so I think it's effective how she basically does this, looks like to me, in layers. You know, first she shows the ring, and there you've got the white background there. And then here you've got kind of, she's zooming out a little bit more, and then you see her zoom out even more on the same item, and you get to see how it looks in different perspectives. And I like that she's got the, you know, the bright red nail polish on there, and she's got a fancy purse there. You know, it helps tie the item with the fanciness of the rest of the image. People will psychologically associate those things together compared to if all you showed was this image. Imagine that. You just showed this image, or maybe you showed this ring at different angles. Compare that to what she's doing here, you know, displaying it like this, then displaying it like this. I think it's very effective. It's very powerful. And then here you could see she does a collage imagery as well. And she's doing this, by the way, for an item that she's selling for $11. So I'm showing you things across the price range. If you sell expensive things, you could use these techniques, or if you sell things that are like $10 items, she's using the same types of techniques across her closet to effectively sell items. I've got about 2 other examples here. This is one where what I like about this is she is showing this infinity scarf, and she's showing it at different angles. So in other words, she's not just showing the scarf on a mannequin and just showing it in one position. She's showing it in this position. Now she's showing it looped, and forgive me, I don't know the proper terms, but you know, here she's showing it, I'll just call it, I guess in guy terms, I'll call it bunched up. And but the point is that if it's something that has multiple uses, then and multiple positions that it could go in, show that. So maybe, for example, to relate it to something I would show, salt and pepper shakers or action figures, I try to show them at different angles and at different positions. If they have different, you know, the ways that you could position the feet or the legs, show them off in different types of ways. That's very effective. You know, she's doing that very well here. And, you know, then she also has some pictures where she just shows what it looks like. One you could see without the measuring tape, and then here again, we show her effectively using the measuring tape as well. So, you know, great strategy here to sell this item. And again, a lot of these items I'm showing you are ones that she's already sold. And this one I just put to show you this dress that she had, because it's an example of something that if you don't want to personally model the items, then you could just take images of these items being modeled by somebody else to give an example of what they look like. And you know, and that's what she did here. This one I really like as well because she really personalized it. So check out here. This kind of ties back to something we were talking about earlier, which is I wore this to a polo match and got tons of compliments. Who doesn't want to get tons of compliments? Like, you then feel, right, that if you buy this, that you're going to get tons of compliments. So that increases the chance that you're going to buy it. And then she says, flattering since it's fitted at the smallest part of the waist. So just amazing techniques. And I really want to thank Amanda for allowing me to share her closet and all the great things that she's doing over there. So again, make sure that you are following not only her Poshmark closet at Garment Broker, but you're also following her at Instagram. Again, the links are down below in the description section. And just for fun, if you would like Amanda to come on for an interview, let me know that in the comments section. Maybe I'll pass some of those on to her at some point, and maybe just maybe I could get her to change her mind to come on so we could talk to her some more about this stuff. So I know there's a lot of budding entrepreneurial women out there who could be very inspired at someone who is this successful and this good at what she does. So thank you, Amanda. I hope that you all enjoyed the video. If so, make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, and follow me on Instagram at prime_time_treasure. I'll see you all back at the next video, everyone. Take care.